Okay, so today we're in our test review unit. Okay, so I say that it's a test review. You have a quiz first. Your quiz is on Monday, but it's over the same concepts that you're going to be tested over. So you can use this video to study for your quiz and to review for your test, both. All right, so your test will cover sections 1.1 through 2.2. That's all of chapter 1 and sections 2.1 and 2.2. First section you're going to see on your quiz and test is to find absolute value. All right, we know that the absolute value bars indicate to me that I'm taking absolute value. Can anybody tell me what is absolute value, Gabe? 8. Okay, what is absolute value though? Absolute value is what, Noah? Yeah, very good. It's how far it is from 0. How many units is it from 0? It's not positive, not negative. So the absolute value of -8 is 8. However, there was a negative in front of the bars, so my answer is -8. On the second one, we put a fraction in there just because it looks different, but do we treat it any different? No. I still evaluate, and I get 3/7. So if you got both of those right, go ahead and give yourself 2 points. 2 points. Okay, so moving on. Find the sum or the difference of the integers. Find the sum or the difference. All right, so -10 minus -4. What do you see, guys? What do you alert to? Double negative. -10 plus 4 is -6. Okay, now 15 minus 30. I still have some confusion about the sign in front of 30, okay? This does mean that I'm subtracting 30 from 15. 30 is negative. That means I have different signs, and I subtract the two numbers. 30 is larger and it's negative, so my answer is -15. -15, all right? 30 is not positive. I still have people getting confused. Well, I'm subtracting a positive, and I'm like, no, that's not exactly true, okay? So 30 is negative, and we need to subtract it from 15. All right, next section. This will be one of your more challenging sections on your quiz and your test because there's fractions, all right? So fractions, we have to find a what? Common denominator. You got to find a common denominator. And once we find the common denominator, then we can follow our rules for positives and negatives. All right, so let's work through these two. I need an LCD. What's my LCD on the first one? 15. Okay, so when I multiply -2 times 15, what do I get? I'm sorry, times 5. -2 times 5 is -10 over 15 minus 6 over 15. So my 15 stays the same, all right? Obviously, I do nothing to my denominators. Now I must pay attention to the signs of my numerators. 10 is negative and 6 is negative. -10 minus 6 is -16. -16 over 5. If you said -1 and 1/15, perfect, okay, that's fine. As long as you reduce it all the way, which it is reduced, okay? Now, I have not called on you to talk. Thank you. All right, so -3 1/5 on the next one, okay? I need to convert this to improper first, especially because they're different signs. I cannot just combine these fractions after I find LCD. -3 1/5 is -16 over 5 plus 2/3. What is my LCD again? Same thing, 15. So now I'm going to multiply the first fraction by 3, so I get -48 over 15. Now I multiply the second fraction by 5 to get plus 10 over 15. Guys, it just makes it so much clearer and so much easier to solve if you do it this way. All right? So -48 plus 10 is -38. This one might be helpful for you to go back and look at on the video. All right, you might not need to watch every second of this video, but it's really helpful if you just go back to refresh your memory. All right, that's what I need to do. Change mixed numbers to improper fractions, find my LCD, and then use my rules to evaluate. All right, so that's sum or difference of rational numbers. Let's do decimals. All right, decimals seem to not give us quite as much trouble as fractions, but we still need to remember our rules. Let's go ahead and evaluate. All right, same sign or different? Different. Different, so I need to subtract. Which number would I put on top? 5.4 minus 4.7 gives me 0.7. And is my answer positive or negative? Positive. It is positive because 5.4 is bigger, okay? So if it was same sign, I would have added them and kept the common sign. So I still follow my same rules for adding and subtracting decimals. So now we're going to find the product or quotient of integers. You're going to find on your quiz and test that I'll give you 2 numbers in an expression, but a lot of times I will give you 3 numbers. So 3 numbers, even 4 numbers, we still handle the same way, but we have to count how many negatives are in the expression. So go ahead and solve these 2. All right, before we multiply this first expression, is my answer positive or negative? Negative. It's negative, okay? So I highly recommend that you establish the sign of your answer first and then just work on your order of operations. Here it's just all multiplication. Just go ahead and multiply, because if you do negative 10 times negative 3 is positive 30 times negative 2 is negative 60. It just gets a little too wordy in your head, and I'm afraid that that kind of creates room to make a mistake. So decide what the sign of your answer is and then multiply. You get negative 60 and negative 4. All right, so give yourself 2 points if you got those right. Good job. Awesome, awesome. All right, product and quotient. We just learned those. All right, you guys did very well in those sections. This is a very important section on your quiz and test. Evaluate the expression when x equals 10 and y equals negative 2. We see those absolute value bars again. You saw those on your homework worksheet last night. Let's go ahead and solve. Go ahead and solve these 2 expressions. All right, I think the first one's maybe a little tougher than the second one, or maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Will you do absolute value of 10 times negative 2? Okay, well, absolute value of negative 20 is going to be what? 20. Okay, and then absolute value, or I'm sorry, not absolute value, but 10 times negative 2 divided by negative 2. Okay, and negative 20 divided by negative 2 is positive 10. Positive 10. All right, very good, guys. 2 points if you got those right. All right, find the distance between the 2 numbers. I've got this one, and then I'm going to kind of make up another one that I want to look at that's a little bit different, okay? So we're finding the distance between 2 numbers. In class, we talked about a specific method that we could subtract them, a certain number first and then second, and this gives us the correct distance, or you can use a number line. It really is up to you. If you like number lines, go ahead and do it that way. Number lines help us see that the distance can never be negative, all right, versus kind of our expression, the way we set it up, we have to just remember that, all right? So you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a second. So we learned that to find the distance, we can subtract the first number, 8.0, minus the second number in the set, okay? So we always go, did I just say that wrong? Oh my goodness. The second number minus the first number. So whatever number comes second, I write it first, and then the first number comes second. I subtract it from that number, okay? Hopefully I did not just confuse you. So 8 minus 3.4 is what? 4.6. And if this is negative, I have to understand that distance can never be negative. That's why our book uses absolute value bars. It's just 4.6. I can never have a negative distance. All right, so 4.6 is my answer. Give yourself a point if you got it. All right, let's do one more. Instead of 3.4 and 8.0, let's do negative 2.6 and 3.4. negative 2.6, and 3.4. So again, I'll go back to the number lines. Number lines are a good idea, but sometimes when they give you decimal values, that can get kind of goofy to like graph on a number line. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to end up doing some type of, manual adding or subtracting of decimals. So that's why if you know which ones you're subtracting first, you can go ahead and just do that. So yeah, let's work on this. 3.4 minus negative 2.6. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Double negative. So now I add them. And when I add them, I get 6.0. 6.0. Okay, 6. All right, distance between two numbers. All right, last, find the solution. All right, this is our last slide. Find the solution. 20 minus the absolute value of negative 5 and negative 12 minus absolute value of negative 5 times 3. I will caution you on the second one. You need to make sure you follow order of operations. I had quite a few people get it wrong last hour because they forgot to follow order of operations. Okay, 20 minus absolute value of negative 5. This is not a double negative. All right, so I think I'm probably going to see 1 or 2 mistakes like that on Monday. If you forget that, all right, you're definitely going to get the answer wrong. It's not a double negative. This is 20 minus the absolute value of negative 5, which is 5. So 20 minus 5 is 15. Okay, 20 minus 5 is 15. If you thought it was a double negative, you would say it's 25, and that's not the correct answer. All right, negative 12 minus 5, because the absolute value of negative 5 is 5, times 3. So now you have to ask yourself, I think part of our tendency is to say, oh yeah, 12 minus 5 times 3, or negative 12 minus 5. But remember, we do not subtract before we multiply. And you also need to keep in mind that 5 is negative. So we are multiplying negative 5 times 3. What's negative 5 times 3?
15.
Negative 15. That's why there's a subtraction sign in front of it, and I bring down the negative 12. The sign of your answer goes in front of the number. If I had multiplied these two numbers and it was positive, I would have put a plus sign in front of 15. Okay, but it was negative. So negative 12 minus 15 is negative 17. You will have a couple word problems on your quiz and your test. I will say for your word problems, a couple of areas you want to look at from your worksheets and your notes. Finding the mean. Okay, so you might want to, take note of this, or it's going to be in the recording. Finding the mean. I'll answer your questions in just a sec. Finding the mean and, negative 27. Sorry. Negative 27, not 17. Sorry. I know, it's the end of the day. Silly little error. I should have known when I had, ignore that. So yes, what I was talking about the word problems. Be familiar with finding mean. We've done several of those. Be familiar with your money examples. Remember when we were making like deposits and withdrawals? All right, that's another one that you might see on the quiz or the test, those types of problems. All right, if you understand that, that's pretty much everything you need to know for your test coming up.